Super Captain Laser Awesome. Sweet name. Good luck, Captain. As for our hand here, this is fine. We have 3 lands, Death Shadow, Thoughtseize. The fetch land is a little bit awkward, or rather the shock and the basic, but I think with the Thoughtseize we can get our Death Shadow out on turn 2. Let's see, that's 5, 6, 7, so we'll need 1 more point. Let's see if we can draw a fetch land, I guess. Okay, Mutagenic Growth. Alright, so we'll use the Marsh Flats right away. Even though it will be better with the Fatal Push, we are hoping to draw a fetch land so that we can deploy a Death Shadow next turn. We'll get Blood Crypt. White mana is no good first game, except for our protection spell. Okay. So they have a Path and a Skyclave Apparition as answers, and a sort of Fire and Ice, which we will not be able to answer very well with our cards. So we could take away one of their 2 answers, both of which are good against Unearth, or we could get rid of the sword. I'm leaning towards getting rid of the Skyclave Apparition here. They can cling to dust if they want, that's fine. Okay, and we'll pass back. So we left them with a Path, which will get us more value if they use it with a Death Shadow. We do have another basic in the deck. And we find our fetch land, so we can deploy the Shadow, and they won't be able to Path it end of turn. Mystic Sanctuary, we know they had that, so they have 1 unknown card. It could be like a Fatal Push or something with the Watery Grave open. So we'll go ahead and make a 1/1 Shadow. Again, getting Blood Crypt. We can save it from Lightning Bolt, but that doesn't look like a card they play anyway. We do have an option to Fatal Push it if they try and Path to Exile it, but they could cling to dust, which would nullify our Unearth. We'll see if we can hold the Unearth to maybe resurrect a Lurrus or something. Okay, we get another fetch land. And here's a Path. Fortunately, we did not draw our basic. We do have the option to Fatal Push it, but I think instead we'll just go get Lurrus and put it in hand. We'll be able to... I guess we can't really do anything with Lurrus currently. Okay, Stoneforge Mystic. That is something that we can Fatal Push on our turn. I imagine they'll go get a Batterskull. Batterskull seems to be pretty good against Scourge of the Skyclaves, I would say. Oh, no, they're going for Sword of Feast and Famine. Good choice. We do have red options that could counterplay that. And we find Swiftspear, that's decent. So we have access to 5 mana. We can play Swiftspear, Fatal Push the Stoneforge, and put Lurrus onto the field. They have 2 unknown cards. There is the question if we want to Mutagenic Growth the Swiftspear. I don't think we're quite there yet. We can use the Mutagenic Growth later as a trick. So the question here is, do we want to play the Lurrus where we're getting no value out of it? We would be using our mana. We don't know that they have a removal spell. And if they do remove it with something like a Fatal Push, we can unearth it next turn. I think that we do play it. We need to get a clock. It's a shame playing it for no value, but it is what it is. So they still currently only have access to one white source, so it might have been a mistake to Thoughtseize the Apparition, but I don't generally assume that my opponent is going to be screwed. I generally assume that they're going to end up going out quite well. So here they're going to Snap Path. Looks like we have no answer to that. I imagine they'll Path the Lurrus. Yep. Nothing we can do. Okay. Wondering if I want to cycle the Unearth here. I think that most of the removal seems to be Exile. We find Lightning Bolt. I think that we want to attack them here, find out if they block. If they block, we can Lightning Bolt them. Okay, this saves our creature and does more damage overall. It is potentially wasting a removal spell. The other option would be Mutagenic Growth, which would be just as good. But find Mutagenic Growth is a pretty nice surprise with Death Shadow, generally growing the shadow by 4. There is a question if I play this land here or if I hold it as a bluff. I have plenty of land in play. Even if I get the Agadeem, wouldn't really be hurting on mana here. Not that I have anything to bring back. Okay, so they're going to use the Clink to Dust to take my Bolt and draw a card. They have 2 swords in hand and 3 unknowns. It will take quite a bit of mana investment to play a sword and equip it, so I'm not scared of it yet. Okay, and once again they're passing with mana open, so they've got some sort of trick here. We find Lightning Bolt. Okay, let's move to combat. They let us attack, so it's not a cryptic command. Okay, let's do a quick count on damage here. This is one reason why we might have wanted to play the Arid Mesa, because that could grow our shadow by 3. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I believe we're missing lethal because I didn't play the Mesa. But again, I assume that they have some sort of trick here, and here it is. Okay, we can replay that on our turn. And we will play this land. We should have played it earlier, but it doesn't cost us anything now. Brazen Borrower will be a bit of a pain if they manage to put a sword onto it, but we do have an answer. As long as they don't have a counter spell as well. They do have one unknown card in hand. Okay, let's see what they got. I think the Brazen Borrower can only block creatures with flying. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so that's not a blocker, only an attacker. We'll leave the land as is. They have plenty of mana and one unknown. We have one land left in the deck to fetch with the Mesa. We'll go ahead and put the Foundry down to lose some life. And attack. So there might be some value here in going for it. Let's take a moment. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we have lethal. I believe we have lethal just with Mutagenic Growth and Fetch. They don't play Bolt, so we're fine going down to 3 here. So this is their last chance to do something. Okay, they're... Oh, is this another Petty Theft? Okay, that works. They have mana to cast one of their Brazen Borrowers, but we'll Lightning Bolt it. Well, let's see here. So we could have done another 4 damage, putting them to 4, but that would have been our death. Okay, so we'll wait for them to cast the Brazen Borrower, then we'll Lightning Bolt it. Good thing we caught the stop there on the end step. We definitely did not want to let them untap before they before we got our chance. Okay, once again, we're working with one unknown card. Okay, and it was a land, so now we have perfect information. We know they have Brazen Borrower, which cannot block, and 2 swords. So this should be lethal. I suppose they could fetch for a Mystic Sanctuary, but that would only put the card on top of their library. They could then Cling to Dust to draw it. So they could put an Opt on top of their library and Cling to Dust to draw the Opt and try and opt out, maybe towards another path. But that doesn't seem too great. They could put a sword onto their Brazen Borrower. I don't think they even have enough mana to do that anyway. Curious, what are they doing? Okay, yeah, there's a Cling to Dust, getting rid of our Lightning Bolt. That's fine. So they're going to draw a random card. So once again, they're working with one unknown. And we got there. Okay. So we're playing against a Stoneforge control list. It looked like Esper. I think that Inquisition is going to be decent. Kolaghan's Command is going to be quite good. We could run some number of Wear Tear to destroy their equipments. Soul Guide Lantern, meh. Path to Exile could be okay, but I'm not too hot on Path to Exile when we're already running some excellent removal spells. All of our removal spells seem like they'll work against the opponent's creatures. The opponent is not playing Lightning Bolt, so we're going to remove Mutagenic Growth. I was thinking the Kolaghan's Command is going to be our best card. I think the Inquisition could do pretty well here. We are playing against the control deck. Again, because we're playing against control, there's too many things that can go wrong with Temur Battle Rage. So we're going to take that out and we'll put in the Wear Tear to try and destroy their artifacts. The Cling to Dust will be very good against their Snapcaster Mage. Apostle's Blessing will be very good versus their Path to Exile. The Unearth, I'm not too hot on. We could replace the Unearth with Wear Tear. Okay, I think I'm satisfied with that. Okay, reveal Lurrus. We have 4 lands, no creatures, and a Thoughtseize. Not too happy with this here. Our opponent has mulliganed, so we have Thoughtseize versus a mulligan hand. I think I do mulligan this. Okay, we have 2 lands, we have a threat. This hand is fine, we'll keep. We'll have to choose a card to get rid of. So these 3 cards here are guaranteed keep. We have to lose 1 card from this side of the pile. I might like to keep the Dismember with the Death Shadow. I would like to keep the Mishra's Bauble to be sure. We even have a Scry with the Bloodstained Mire here. So between Lightning Bolt and Fatal Push, I think I would rather keep the Lightning Bolt. And we draw a Blessing, so that'll protect our Death Shadow from a Path to Exile. We'll start with the Bloodstained Mire, play Mishra's Bauble. I don't think we worry about Thoughtseize from the opponent, so we can go ahead and use the Bauble on ourselves now. Reveals Silent Clearing. Do we want a 3rd land? I think we do, and that's also going to give us an extra piece of pain to allow us to cast the Death Shadow turn 3. Although if they play a creature, we can just dismember it, and that'll allow us to play the Death Shadow quickly. Okay, it looks like they're passing. We don't have to fetch right away. We find Wear Tear. So the Agadeem's Awakening and the fetch land are 6 total, putting us to 14. So we're going to want to play the Silent Clearing now so that we can start using it to start paying life. And we'll just pass. Okay, so our opponent's life total is below 20. Our Scourges are active. There's a Field of Ruin. Okay, so we'll activate our Silent Clearing so that we can lose a life. And we find Fatal Push. Okay, I think they're activating the Field of Ruin here. So we're going to... Now we could potentially draw a card with this. And that would make us both lose a land. And then I could use the Agadeem's Awakening. So I think I'm going to actually fetch and draw a card. And that'll set their mana back, which I think is pretty good for us. Now, we don't have any access to white mana, but we do have access to black. So we're going to want to get a Sacred Foundry, I believe. Are there any enchantments the opponent plays? I don't really believe so. I don't think we're going to need the Tear. So we're just going to get Blood Crypt instead. I seem to have miscalculated a little bit on my my life total. I needed another activation of the Silent Clearing in order to play the Death Shadow, so drawing a card means that I can't play it right away. And I don't have the red mana for the Swiftspear. Okay, we are just going to have to pass here. And worst case scenario, next turn we can Lightning Bolt ourselves and play a 3/3 Shadow. But I would be more interested in playing a Swiftspear. Okay, they find another Field of Ruin. I wonder if they'll try the same thing again coming up. We find one of our basics, which means we only have one basic left. Okay, they're letting us have our mana. Play the Mountain. So we could go get Lurrus, but that would mean we would have 8 cards in hand and we would have to discard. Play the Swiftspear. And attack. Interesting, they're doing something during the attack step and not the block step. Okay, each opponent sacrifices a creature and exile all cards from my graveyard. That seems a solid play. The only other thing I could do is bolt myself and play Shadow. But then I wouldn't have mana for Apostle's Blessing as backup, so I'm going to pass. Okay, we find the land. Very good. This means we don't have to worry about lightning bolting ourselves anymore. We can play the Shadow. We'll make a red mana here. And then the field works, and we'll go get a swamp. Okay, we don't have anything we can do except for the lightning bolt here, and we're going to keep that in our hand as removal spell. Get the Bloodstained Mire. Do we have any Blood Crypts left? Oh, we have plenty. Now, we do already have black, so I think we'll get a Sacred Foundry just in case they present an enchantment. Play the Death Shadow, and we'll pass, with Apostle's Blessing up as protection. We can still Lightning Bolt ourselves at some point if we want to grow the Shadow. Okay, they're getting the Mystic Sanctuary, which will allow them to ask us to sacrifice an attacking creature. Apostle's Blessing will be no protection from that. Oh, we should have perhaps thought about grabbing Lurrus. I did want to keep the Apostle's Blessing up, but this would have been a good turn for it as well. Okay, so they're using the Guile now. I have no response to that. Okay, we got a Scourge. That's a good card to draw. Let's go ahead and play it. And we'll pass. So the Lightning Bolt will grow the Scourge in a very similar way as it would have grown the Shadow, except we get to Lightning Bolt our opponent. Would have loved to have seen a Thoughtseize at any point. Okay. That's something that we can wear away. And we'll try to do that now, while we have mana. Although it does expose our creature to a removal spell. Okay, they didn't bite. Very good for us. Do we play the Seal of Fire here? I don't see any harm in it. Okay, and then we could do another 3, putting them to 12, and the Scourge would be an 8/8 at that point. I am going to attempt that. Eliminate. Okay, we'll protect our creature. If we use the white mana of a Sacred Foundry, we can't use the Lightning Bolt. Okay, we'll give it protection from black. And Lightning Bolt the opponent. That'll drop their life total, grow the Scourge, and they'll be in a world of trouble. Okay, they're at 4, facing down at 12/12, but they only need 1 removal spell. Okay, they get a fetch land. That lets them put a card on top. I believe they would play more than 1 Mystic Sanctuary. Alright, let's attack and see what happens. Do we win? Looks like they have something. They have Settle the Wreckage. Exile all attacking creatures, and I get a basic for each creature exiled that way. I think there's some value in Fatal Pushing here. No, there isn't really, because we already have the Agadeem in play. Lurrus is already gone, and Unearth is out of the picture. So the spell works. We already have up basics. So we'll go ahead and see what they're about to draw. They're getting a Snapcaster Mage. Okay, that'll be very good for them. Oh, they shuffled. They shuffled and they got themselves to 3. Okay, so the Snapcaster Mage is no more. Hold on a second. I thought that I'd already lost my companion. That must have been last game. What a fool. It's right there. Okay. So they're gaining 4 life and creating a spirit token. That's fair. Let's see what we can do. We get Bloodstained Mire. So let's take a look at our exiled cards here. There is a Blood Crypt as far as lands go. So that means our deck still includes a Blood Crypt. We can fetch Shock, play Swiftspear, Fatal Push the Spirit, and then we can still put Lurrus in hand. I wonder if we need to do that. Do we need to kill the spirit? We don't need to. course, if they draw... Okay, they're blocking. That's fine. I was just thinking if they draw a sword, we would be punished. So we probably should have waited on that fetch land anyway. Okay, so they draw fetch land. We know that they have no gas. And we draw Scourge. Let's go. So we can play Scourge and Lurrus. Still quite a few mana from, or 2 mana, still 2 mana away from using the kicker. However, if they do draw Sweeper here, we're in a bit of trouble. Maybe I should have held the Lurrus back. Nope, they have nothing. So we have 1 land, Death Shadow, 2 Baubles, and Thoughtseize. We're going to keep this. We're going to hope that the Mishra's Baubles can find us towards a land. And we're going to start the game with Fetch into Blood Crypt and Thoughtseize, dealing ourselves 5. Copperline Gorge. Okay, so we're playing against Dredge. It's been a while since I faced Dredge. We've got Graveyard Hate in the sideboard, so that's a plus. And another Mishra's Bauble. Let's go ahead and Thoughtseize. We could hit something pretty nice here. Cathartic Reunion, for example. But this is one of the cards that we can look to take out in the sideboard. Thoughtseize isn't going to be too great versus Dredge. So yeah, see here, I mean, they don't have anything in hand. Both of these cards are better in the graveyard, so we're just hitting Creeping Chill, which is basically a nothing. And then we'll play the Baubles. Okay, and we're out of resources, so we can do all the Baubles on their turn. Being able to see basically what they're drawing and then what they're going to draw next turn. We are going to wait for the Shriekhorn to go off, and we'll do it in their upkeep. They've already found a Necromeba and a Smiting Helix. And another Necromeba. Okay, we're going to use this opportunity to check the top of their library. Conflagrate is what they're going to draw. Okay, and they've cast it to put it into their graveyard, so they can discard cards with it later, even as soon as next turn. It is a sorcery, though, so they won't be able to dredge unless they hit something with the Shriekhorn on their upkeep. Hey, doing some of our work for us, thank you. Okay, let's see what's on top of their library. Another Stomping Ground. It's on top of our library. A Swamp. Okay. And we found Cling to Dust. Okay. So we can use the Cling to Dust to potentially get rid of a Dredger. Unfortunately, we only have basic lands here. If we had any other type of land, we could play a Death Shadow. So we'll play the Swamp, and we'll have to pass. And we'll plan to Cling to Dust. If they get a Dredger into the yard, I suppose. We could Cling to Dust the Conflagrate, but I prefer to see what is going to happen with the Shriekhorn first, so they find nothing. So we could take their Conflag. Oh, hey there, handsome. Bringing down the house. So we are going to get rid of the Conflagrate here. So they don't have the option to discard the Dredgers from their hand. That's going to make it very difficult for them to get going. Then we can Apostle's Blessing one of their creatures, or we can Lightning Bolt ourselves so we can play the 2 Death Shadows. I'm leaning towards Lightning Bolting myself. 5-second message, eh? So we're still doing the lag on the messaging? That's a shame. I wonder how that's happening. Oh, they found Cathartic Reunion off the top? Okay. You say my mic is lower, huh? Okay, I'll turn up the gain a little bit. Alright, do you notice any difference there? Oh, fantastic. They're attacking me here. Thank you very much. Now I can play my shadows out without using my lightning bolt. And I find an Unearth. Okay, there's no target for that. So I can play the 2 shadows and hold open a red. Okay, okay. I think we just pass here. Lightning bolting ourselves is going to make the shadows huge. But they have a pretty stocked graveyard at this point. Looks like 2 amalgams, ghoul. But I don't think they have any dredgers. Okay, well, they have Cathartic Reunion, so they got their dredgers. And here's a Creeping Chill. It's going to grow my shadows. Okay, so I have 14 on the table and they're at 26. Okay, no attacks, keeping them back as blockers, but they do get their ghoul back. That's fine. And that brings back their amalgams, which is not fine. But they won't be entering until next turn anyway. So what can we do here? We could lightning bolt them. It's looking pretty hopeless at this point, honestly. We could Seal of Fire a creature, lightning bolt a creature, and then block the amalgams, but their creatures just keep on coming, right? Okay, we draw a Scourge, which is a -6. Play a Seal of Fire. And then we're going to need blockers, so we're going to have to pass. Going to hopefully be looking to take advantage of our graveyard removal in games 2 and 3. It looks like we're going to be... let's go ahead and yield to all of these. So we can Seal of Fire 1, Lightning Bolt another, block, and then we'll take 5, go to 1. Oh, they have an Ox in the graveyard now. So they can escape that. Okay, that's the attack we thought it was. Let's go to blocks. Okay. Seal of Fire Lightning Bolt. And we go to 1. These 12/12s still aren't enough to kill. And Smiting Helix, of course. That was in the graveyard, we just missed that it was there. Now, how are we going to run? We're definitely going to bring in the Soul Guide Lanterns. Otherwise, I'm not too impressed with the rest of the offering of the sideboard here. Kozilek's Return would do a little bit of work. Would kill the Necromoebas and the new 3/1 that the deck plays, so we could bring that in. We want to take out the Thoughtseize. So we might play with this. The Path to Exiles could be good. Permanently removing one of the problem creatures. Probably better than Fatal Push. And then as for Unearth, I don't think they're going to be... Okay, no, they have, I think, Lava Axe, so Unearth could be useful. I'm not too sure what Dredge's board looks like, so I'm not too sure what we would be targeting with Wear Tear. Let's see here. We still have 1 minute and 40 seconds. I'm going to see if I can check the internet right quick. Blast Zone, Lightning Axe, Nature's Claim, Thoughtseize, Abrupt Decay, Ancient Grudge, Magus of the Moon, Leyline of the Void. Leyline of the Void is a little bit bad, but I don't think they're going to be bringing that in against us. And even if they do, I don't think that's that bad. So we're going to pass on the Wear Tear. Yes, we would like to play first. Have you seen my kitty Lurrus? Okay, so we have lands and spells. Only 3 lands here, and we can do a pseudo scry. So we're going to keep. Mr. Meowington. Love it. Alright, so we'll play Bauble. We'll play Bauble. Play Arid Mesa. Bauble ourselves. Temur Battle Rage. I would like a Temur Battle Rage in this matchup. I think it's a fine way to win the game. Let's keep it. And then we can use the Mishra's Bauble on the next turn to do another pseudo scry. Okay, they do have their Shriekhorn turn 1. We'll go ahead and Bauble ourselves. And we find Cling to Dust, another fine card. We'll keep that. And we find Swiftspear. Okay. So, we can fetch, play Swiftspear. We don't have Death Shadow quite yet. We can play Death Shadow on turn 3. We'll start with Blood Crypt, and we'll find a white land next turn. Depending on what they mill with the Shriekhorn. Okay, Life from the Loam, that's a target. What else do they get? Another Life from the Loam. Okay. Don't see much sense in Cling to Dust when they have 2 Dredgers there. You may discard a card if you do draw a card. Okay. Discarding Stinkweed Imp. And then immediately they were able to dredge it. Now we can get rid of the Creeping Chill, but that's going to help our Death Shadow, so we're going to let that happen. And there's one of their ghouls, so that's a card we are going to take with... Well, we gain life when we take that. I don't really want to take a creature out. Otherwise, I would love to Cling to Dust that ghoul. Their other targets aren't very good. We could take one of their Helix. Maybe we'll wait until next turn, and then we can get a Prowess trigger out of the Cling to Dust. Oh, the ghoul's going to come back right away, huh? Alright, we're going to go ahead and gain the life so we can get rid of that ghoul permanently. Okay, so the Bloodstained Mire will still allow us to play the Death Shadow, same with the Sacred Foundry. We don't really have much else to do with our turn. We'll take another land out of our deck then. Okay, and we'll pass here. Unfortunately, we don't currently have the ability to grow the Shadow. It is vulnerable to some of their spells. They do find an Amalgam. They're missing the white mana currently to Lightning Helix, our Death Shadow. Okay, they're using the Life from the Loam, so that will give them the mana for next turn in order to start casting their Smiting Helix. We are going to be able to remove one of them, though. And that'll put us to 9, which will grow our Shadow out of range. Ah, we find Bomat Courier. I do want to play the Cling to Dust, though, and get rid of one of their Smiting Helix. Then again, tricky, tricky, tricky. Well, we definitely want to play this untapped. So that's 4. This would make it 8, 9, 10. That's right. Special delivery. So I am considering playing the Courier instead of the Cling to Dust. So we can either hold up Path or put Lurrus into hand. I'm going to put Lurrus in my hand. I don't think Dredge plays with any haste threats. The Smiting Helixes would do us a lot of damage. The Creeping Chill here is a bit of a pain. So if they have another white land in their hand, they can actually win the game right here with the 2 Smiting Helixes. What's the Death Shadow at? It's a 7/7 currently. So if we get to our turn, we can Temur Battle Rage and win. That's the plan anyway. It'll be 14, 15, 16, 17 exactly. But with these Smiting Helixes, they're going to be able to turn that around. So we're going to want to cling to dust to gain some life. Pretty sure these are sorceries. So we don't have to worry about that. Once we get to our turn, we can Temur Battle Rage. They could still have Lightning Axe to kill one of our smaller creatures. Blast Zone kills the Courier and the Swiftspear. Oh, and the Death Shadow. So yeah, Blast Zone's a pretty perfect card for them. They can just kill our entire board with that. Okay, we can get rid of the Prized Amalgam during our turn. We get another Bomat Courier. Okay. Cling to dust. The... Cancel that. Okay, so they're not doing anything yet. They're waiting for us to activate the Battle Rage. Otherwise, they don't need to activate the Blast Zone currently. But if we cast Battle Rage, Blast Zone kills all our dudes. So we're not going to do that. I assume they will still activate the Blast Zone. No, they take the damage, so they go to 8. Okay, so I still think that our best play is going to be Cling to Dust. They have a 3-1 here. We cannot path it if we Cling to Dust. And the Prize of Amalgam's coming back. So let's go ahead and get rid of the Prize Amalgam. But I still think that we're going to lose this match, unfortunately. That Blast Zone was pretty good on their side. So again, if they get a white mana source, they're just good to go. They can Smiting Helix twice and attack for 3. That's true. We could have played the cat. Then they would have had 2, 3 power creatures, and we would have had to trade the cat for one of their creatures, but that would have gained us 3 life, so that still might have been better. If we can hold on to the cat for a turn here, we can replay our Death Shadow from the yard, but they managed to activate a Creeping Chill here, so that's GG. They can attack and then flash back one of their helixes. Isn't that all anyone really wants? Just to show people their cat? Our opponent has also shown us their cat. We have the same cat. We're going to keep this. We have lands and spells. We have an aggressive start. We have removal spells. Scalding Tarn with Lurrus. Getting Sacred Foundry. This could be burn. Goblin Guide, I would say it is burn. Okay, let's see if they'll draw us a card. We're going to be lightning bolting their Goblin Guide. Mutagenic Growth, that's fine versus their removal spells, but not really the kind of card I want to be seeing in this matchup. Death Shadow is going to be quite good, though. And Mishra's Bauble. Okay, interesting. Okay. Don't have too much experience in this matchup, but we'll see what we can do. We're going to want to remove their creatures and force them to use their spells. I can go get basic Mountain with the Arid Mesa and basic Swamp with the Marsh Flats to preserve our life total even further. We're going to make this a little bit bigger so we don't make a mistake. And we can wait until their turn, actually. So I should have waited on the fetch. because we can lightning bolt their creature in response to the trigger. Although I'm sure they know the gig is up at this point. I don't think they'll even attack, honestly. Okay, they do. Lightning Bolt is what is revealed, and then Lightning Bolt is what is cast. Now, if they have a Mutagenic Growth of their own, they blow us out. But I didn't think they would. Burn decks don't generally play that card. Okay, there's an Eidolon. Fortunately, we have a Lightning Bolt coming to answer it. Okay, so we play the Lightning Bolt. That puts us to 15. And then we play... we could go get... okay, so we would go to 12 if we fetch Shock, which would make us a 1/1 Shadow. But a 1/1 Shadow is too easily killed. But we do have the Mutagenic Growth to save it. So I think that's fine. Okay, we'll get Blood Crypt. It'll come into play untapped, and we'll play Shadow as a 1/1. And then if they try and kill it with a Lightning Bolt, we have Mutagenic Growth, and that'll give it +4/+4, make it a 5/5 temporarily, and it'll be a 3/3 again on our turn. It'd be really nice if we could use the Mutagenic Growth on our turn. That would be a huge amount of damage with a Swiftspear. But it would open us up to a removal spell from the opponent. Oh, a Lightning Bolt. That's interesting. Play Swiftspear, Swiftspear. They do have a lot of cards in hand, though, so we could be in quite a bit of trouble here. If they have Bolt Bolt into Bolt Bolt, we're dead. We're not going to make it any easier on them this turn with Mutagenic Growth. We can wait a turn on that. Okay, Boros Charm it looks like. Yep. So if they get land, they can still kill us here with 3 spells. Mishra's Bauble. So they only have 4 cards left. They need land. It looks like no land. That's very good for us. I think the Lightning Bolt Mutagenic Growth cinches it. Unfortunately, the Mutagenic Growth will put us to 6, which means 2 bolts will kill us. So let's see here. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we do have lethal, even without the Mutagenic Growth, because of the Lightning Bolt. Okay, so this is forcing them to act. They have to do something. If they try and kill our creature, we have Mutagenic Growth, but they can't kill us. They don't have enough mana. Okay, so we are getting a reaction. Double white? What do they have? Okay. Maybe they have Lightning Helix here. That would be an interesting play. I think we still win with Mutagenic Growth if they have Lightning Helix. Okay, we won that one. So we're playing against Burn. Thoughtseize is going to be bad. Let's get Thoughtseize out of the deck. Not too sure what we want to be bringing in. We have Wear Tear, which kills Eidolon. Path to Exile, I think, is probably fine. We might bring in Inquisition. Kozilek's Return seems pretty good, actually. It kills all their creatures. Let's take a look at what else we want to take out of the deck. Mutagenic Growth is quite good. Apostle's Blessing is quite good. Teemo Battle Rage should be fine. They might be bringing in Path, so this is one card we could potentially look at taking out. Also, Dismember is a card I would relish to take out. Cling to Dust might actually be gaining us life in this matchup, which could be quite good. But we need to bring in 6 cards, which is quite a few. So we're going to bring in the Return. We're going to bring in the Inquisition. We'll bring in the Path. And then we'll either bring in Kolaghan's Command or what? Maybe Soul Guide Lantern, because they are playing Lurrus. Thinking maybe the Kolaghan's Command as an extra removal spell. Definitely not great, but I think it's better than Thoughtseize and Dismember. So we're fortunately able to take out most of the cards that are dealing us damage here. And we're going to try and go for a slow-paced game, where the opponent will be doing most of the work for us. My cat has 4 eyes. This hand is awful. Let's mulligan this. This hand is garbage. This is a little bit better. We can get rid of one of the lands, maybe one of the Marsh Flats. Keep the basic swamp. And maybe surprise them with the Kozilek's Return and manage to sweep a board. Okay, they're targeting us, so they know what our draw step is going to be. Are they playing a creature? They are not. Okay, we get another land, so we'll play the land they know about. And we'll go ahead and present a Swiftspear, and if they want to waste a Lightning Bolt on it, that's fine. I'm going to grab Basic Mountain here, even though I have the Shadow in hand. I just don't want to do Burn's work for them. So we're fine playing slow. Okay, they have Core Firewalker, which the Kozilek's Return will be very well positioned against. We find Silent Clearing. So we'll go ahead and play a Marsh Flats. And we'll pass. I wonder how many Core Firewalkers this deck plays. If they play 3 or 4. Okay, they're attacking. That's good for us. Wonder what else they're going to do. Maybe just land go? Or do they play another Firewalker? Oh, I think they're playing a second Firewalker. Oh, this Kozilek's Return is going to be gas. Okay, let's get a Blood Crypt tapped. We already have white mana with Silent Clearing, and we have an Arid Mesa to get another white source. Temur Battle Rage will go nicely with the Death Shadow. Play Arid Mesa. So we could Kozilek's Return and then hit for 2. I think that's fine. We'll go get a white source. Call it Godless Shrine. That feels pretty good, getting rid of those 2 Firewalkers. We did take out Dismember, which is one of our other answers. Otherwise, we have Fatal Push. Why not wait till their turn? That might have been better, but I was getting an extra damage in with the Monastery Swiftspear. If we had waited, we would not have hit them for anything, and no damage on that turn. Okay, they're attacking us. That'll make the Death Shadow playable. I wonder if they're going to cast a spell as well. Maybe Boros Charm. Looks like no, they're just going to put us at 12. Okay, it is going to be dangerous playing the Death Shadow. They're going to have plenty of ways to kill it, but we drew Apostle's Blessing. It's true, we might have gotten rid of their Swiftspear. So we'll play Silent Clearing and Death Shadow. I wonder, do we want to attack here with the Swiftspear? I think we just go ahead and attack for 1 with this. Get them down to 16. And then if we're at 4 life, a Death Shadow is lethal. Okay, we have a way to protect it. Silent Clearing can grow it up to a 2/2. Okay, so they have Path to Exile for it, so we're going to go ahead and use the Apostle's Blessing. I'm just considering if I want to lose any life for this. I think it would probably be fine to go down to 10. And then we could use the Silent Clearing to make it a 4/4 if we need to. Okay, we want to give this protection from white. And now they'll need either a second path or 2 regular removal spells to kill the shadow. Lightning Bolt won't do it. Okay, Lava Spike. They're setting us up for a Temur Battle Rage on our turn. Can they kill us, though? I think that if we block the Swiftspear, we're fine. Okay, no attacks. We're going to stay at 7 here. And we find Bomat Courier. So we'll play the Courier. Let's see here. So we can get the Death Shadow up to 7, which is 14 damage, 15, 16, 17. So we have lethal. They must block. We're going to, I think, attack all. Because, let's see here. If they block Courier Swiftspear, then they'll take 12, 13, 14, go to 2, and then we'll be wide open. So I think we just attack with Death Shadow, and then leave the other 2 creatures back as blockers. Okay, so they're just going to chump. The Temur Battle Rage here will put, I think, 10 damage onto them. They'll go to 6. Or do we keep it for 1 more turn? I'm going to use the Silent Clearing to draw a card, and that'll influence our decision. We get Lightning Bolt. Okay. So we could hit them for 12, and then they would go to 4. Lightning Bolt would be nearly lethal on the next turn, but we would be tapped out. I'm going to keep the Battle Rage for 1 more turn. We'll have Lightning Bolt if we need to remove one of their creatures, but it's pretty close either way. It's very close. Because we're at 7 here, they can spell and then double spell. Even if they just have Boros Charm in hand, we're dead. So they either need Boros Charm or 2 spells. I think that if they had it, they would have already played it. It looks like a path, actually. So maybe we should have TBR'd. There's nothing we can do about that. The path is pretty good for them. We're only at 4 life here. Okay, we're going to block and then use Lightning Bolt. Looks like they do still have something. Okay, a lightning bolt of their own targeting me, putting me to 1. And this will trade our creatures. We do have Bomat Courier available to start drawing us cards. And we can put Lurrus into hand. Before they draw any spell at all, basically. It is a pretty miserable spot. But the Seal of Fire will protect us from their creatures, including a Eidolon. Okay, they're taking a moment here. I imagine they're deciding if they want to sacrifice their canyon. Or white mana. Could this be a second or third path? They do have a lot of white cards in their red deck. Can we get the board wipe back? No, we can't. Okay, so they drew a card, looking for Lightning Bolt. They have 2 cards in hand. And they get Goblin Guide. So that can attack us. That's fine. We have Seal of Fire to answer it. Okay, they are attacking us, which is a bit of a surprise, but it forces the hand on Seal of Fire, so we'll go ahead and do that. Do we draw a land? We do not. We have Unearth on top. What can we unearth? We can unearth a Swiftspear. Okay, we can get Swiftspear back with Lurrus anyway. Or we could get Seal of Fire, which I would prefer. Seal of Fire will protect us from Eidolon. Yeah, you called it. Seal of Fire. That's where it's at. So we need to evade damage spell for 1 more turn, and then we can start attacking with Lurrus. It is asking a lot, though, for Burn not to draw Burn. Now, I would have thought they would have cast the spell by now, if they had it. So we win. Show them our Instagram cat pics. So we have 4 lands, which isn't great. And Bomat Courier. I'm almost tempted to keep this on the strength of Bomat Courier alone, especially with Unearth to back it up, and we can discard extra lands. So let's go ahead and keep this and see what happens. Okay, we're going to start with a fetch land. We'll go get a Blood Crypt and play Bomat Courier. So if the opponent is up on the meta, they know exactly what we're playing. And they have a basic forest to start. This could mean several things. Arbor Elf, okay. So that's something we can kill with Seal of Fire. It's something I would like to kill with Seal of Fire. Let's see if we draw a non-land. We do. Wonderful card. Wonderful card. So we'll start with the Swiftspear. And then we'll bolt the bird. This gives us a prowess trigger, extra damage. Cuts them off of mana. And we got the Bomat Courier accruing value. Hopefully we'll be able to draw these cards in a couple turns. With the cards in our hand as is, we're probably going to be putting Lurrus into our hand next turn, but we could draw a nice juicy spell. We'll see what happens. Okay, so they fetch. What are they going to get? This will tell us a little bit more about what's going on. Stomping Ground untapped. Are they going to stomp on our courier or something? No, Utopia Sprawl. Nice carpet, Delivery Man. Okay, Lightning Bolt taking care of our courier. That happens. We can unearth it. But we've lost those two cards. And Lightning Bolt taking care of our Swiftspear. Okay. So our choices here, we could unearth the Bomat Courier, or we could go get Lurrus and put Lurrus in hand. There we go. Bomat, nice carpet, Courier, Delivery Man. Makes sense. So I'm going to... Yeah, exactly. We're going to go ahead and fetch Shock and put Lurrus in hand. And Lurrus can get the Bomat Courier back next turn. We have the mana for it. Or the Seal of Fire, depending on how they play. They have access to 4 mana here. Yes, Unearth hits Lurrus. Costs 3 mana or less. So that's one of the big reasons why we play Unearth in this deck, is because it can return the Lurrus. Pillage. Destroy target artifact or land. Yep, that works. So we can no longer Lurrus for value unless we draw a Mishra's Bauble here. Okay, we get Scourge instead. I'm fine with just playing Scourge. And we could unearth the Bomat Courier at the same time. They're going to have a hard time killing Scourge of the Skyclaves. Okay, we're going to do that post-combat. We're going to start with Unearth on Bomat Courier. Okay, that's our turn. We're pretty satisfied with that. If we could be a Prison Ponza, well, I think we actually win here. They have 1 mana available, but we can Lurrus, Seal of Fire, put them to 10, and then Scourge kills them. So we're going to do that. Yeah, we see the lines. You need an answer to Scourge. I don't think you can do that for a single green. Okay, that's game 1. So we're playing against Ponza. Cleansing Wildfire is going to be okay. We would be able to hit the lands they have enchanted. So that's a consideration. Wear Tear could be pretty good. Hitting their enchantments, their Blood Moons, things like that. Mutagenic Growth is going to be quite good. It's going to be saving our creatures from Lightning Bolt. Oh, and Bridges. Yeah, if they're playing a more prison build, it could hit Bridges. So we're going to need to take some cards out anyway to get these cards in. We can take out Cling to Dust. And we need 4 more cuts. This is going to be difficult here. They don't have a lot of life gain, you say. That's good to hear. I might take out some of my removal. Maybe some Fatal Push. I like keeping the Apostle's Blessing. It can be very good as a to make a creature unblockable, basically. So we still need 2 cuts. Not too sure what I want to cut here. I think actually the Thoughtseize. I think the Thoughtseize are very strong here. Being able to pull a Blood Moon out of their hand could be life and death here. We're going to take out... They can turn 1 Blood Moon? That's terrifying. If they turn 1 Blood Moon, we're dead. We don't have... Oh, I guess... Yeah, we wouldn't have the white mana for Terror. I'm going to get out Unearth and... one of the growths. It was a very tricky decision there. I'm really not sure about my sideboarding decisions. Maybe I should not have been playing the Wildfire. Okay, so we got our 2 Cleansing Wildfires and Thoughtseize, so we're going to see how this does. Hopefully we evade turn 1 Blood Moon. Wildfire can be very good. If we manage to hit one of the lands that they've enchanted, we'll be very happy with that. That's a keep. Yeah, who would have thought such a common would have done so much for the format? It's pretty cool. Hey, we got another Thoughtseize. Fantastic. Let's start with a Godless Shrine, and then we'll Thoughtseize. We'll keep the Blood Crypt in hand so that we have the red mana for Cleansing Wildfire, just in case they pull some tricks. Okay, so let's see what they got. They have Obstinate Baloth. Let's hit that one, right? Let's hit the Baloth. Flame Slash, which we don't care about. Pyromancer and Chandra. That's true. Wildfire is red, so if they get the Blood Moon, we can play the Cleansing Wildfire. I think that I'm probably going to hit the Pyromancer and then the Chandra. Yep, and the Pyromancer was one of the ways for them to draw gas, so get that out of there. There's the Misty Rainforest we knew about. So they have 1 unknown card. Let's see if we draw a creature here. Maybe a nice hasty threat. We got a Seal of Fire instead. Okay. So we're probably going to Thoughtseize into Seal of Fire. So they have another Obstinate Baloth. We'll get rid of the Chandra here. Play this, yes. And we will not play the Death Shadow because it would just die to the Flame Slash. Thoughtseize into Seal, you read my mind. Okay, the Cleansing Wildfires aren't doing too much. I would really prefer to hit a land that they have enchanted. There's one of their basics. Ah, fantastic. That's what we were looking for. We wanted to get that card. We wanted to get one of those enchantments. We have an answer for Baloths. We have an answer for one Baloth in Dismember. And did we bring in Path to Exile? We did not bring in Path to Exile. Okay. Another Death Shadow. So we'll go ahead and Cleansing Wildfire the forest. And we'll draw a card. Hey, we got land. Fantastic. So if we fetch Shock, that puts us to 9. We can play the Death Shadow. And then exactly, we Seal of Fire if they cast the Flame Slash. Okay, so we'll go get another red source. So Blood Crypt. We already have a white source on deck. I cannot fetch a swamp with this, otherwise... I mean, I wouldn't want to anyways. I want to be losing life. Play the Shadow. And we'll go from here. there would be snickering. Snickering would be had. But our opponent would have to miss that we have Seal of Fire on the board, and that was an option for us. So I don't think they're going to present us with that option. And they do not. Okay, another Seal of Fire. So I'm thinking we attack with Death Shadow. Wildfire is gas. Do you think we Wildfire their forest? Or even just any of their lands? And try and... I'm sure they have another basic, right? Yeah, I don't think Cleansing Wildfire here is really the play. We can play the Death Shadow and hold up Dismember instead. We'll just hit them for 4. And then we hold up white mana. Just a little boop on the snoot. Okay, so they do find their 4th land. They'll be able to play the Baloth, go up to 18. And then we'll Dismember it. Very close to lethal. I think with the Dismember and the Seal of Fire, we can get there. We'll do a quick count. So Dismember, we lose 4 life. Go to 5. Seal of Fire, we go to 1. So these become 12 12s, which is 24 damage, and they'll be at 18. They're tapped out, and we know 2 of their cards. I don't think they could possibly have anything to punish us. I mean, we already have 16 damage on the table and Seal of Fire, so seems pretty obvious the opponent should just concede here. Attack with all. Seal of Fire ourselves. Lands and spells. We're going to keep this. Not the best hand I've ever seen, but quite good. We're going to start with Bomat Courier and then move into Monastery Swiftspear. Okay. Opponent has no familiars. Travis needs to wake up. Twin is never coming back. Having said that, he'll probably be back next week. Okay, Snow-Covered Island. And Aether Vial. Okay. So we're probably playing against Merfolk here. The Seal of Fire, Lightning Bolt, Dismember will all be very good versus Merfolk. I'm just wondering if I want to preserve my life total a little bit, especially with Dismember and not having access to a Death Shadow yet. I'm thinking about maybe just fetching a basic with the Arid Mesa, but then I would be very short on black mana. I think I do have to fetch Shock with the Arid Mesa. I want black mana. So I'm going to go get another Blood Crypt. Play a Swiftspear. And then play Seal of Fire. Seal of Fire seems really good here, giving me the Prowess trigger and leaving a removal spell on the board that I won't have to pay mana for when I actually want to kill the creature. I'm very happy with this Seal of Fire. Right up until they show me an X3. But Merfolk lores are generally 2/2s. We just have to be, you know, like if we're on the lands, which we might not be, because don't generally see planes in Merfolk decks. Might be looking to put Lurrus in hand here. Yeah, it's probably spirits. So the Lightning Bolt will be pretty good versus a spirit. I don't think I need to worry too much yet. I should be able to just play land and attack. And if they put something into play with their 2 mana, I should be able to kill it with Seal of Fire and then put Lurrus in hand. And my Courier is about to draw a ton of cards. Oh, a 1-drop. Okay. So they have a Mausoleum Wanderer. That's fine. And then they could have Rattle Chains, which would nullify one of my spells. But if that happens, we can get rid of the Bomat Courier and draw spells. So let's start with Seal of Fire on Mausoleum Wanderer. We want to keep the Lightning Bolt for one of their lords. Okay, they do have Rattle Chains. So we're going to kill both their creatures with our spells and then redraw with Bomat Courier. Okay, so I think I want to go get Swamp here and just lose a little bit less life. Oh, I gotta undo that. Okay, we're fine with clearing our hand because the Bomat Courier is going to draw 4 cards next turn. And we also deal 4 damage this way. Oh, just because I want to preserve my life total right now, we don't have access to a Death Shadow. So with the opponent playing an aggressive creature deck, we want to be able to keep up a little bit of a defense. They will be able to attack for large amounts of damage quite quickly. So no reason to play everything out. Nice rug, man. We're about to draw 4 cards. That seems pretty decent. Still to be seen. We don't know exactly what they have. They still have 3 cards left in hand. They could Aether Vial out a Lord, and they would already be at 6 power on board, which is nearly lethal. Okay, Selfless Spirit. That's fine. So they can block there, and then they'll save their spirit. That's fine. I absolutely want to use the Courier's ability. Draw 4 cards. Okay, let's do a quick count here. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we put them to 2. We could Lightning Bolt their captain. They'll sacrifice their spirit. And that'll give us an extra prowess trigger. Okay, so that's fine. Let's take a peek at what's on top of their deck. They're going to draw a Mausoleum Wanderer. We've already played our land, so we could Thoughtseize. That puts us to 9. I think it's probably fine to Thoughtseize here. Okay, we get rid of their second Drogstall captain. Fantastic. But they have the Mimic, so they're going to be able to make a second captain regardless. That's a really cool card. I did not know about that one. That's a new one. So we'll go ahead and get rid of the original. Cool. Okay. So it is still a very close game. Let's see what we draw here. Cling to Dust. We were hoping for a removal spell, but with 2 captains and we're tapped out, we're not going to be able to remove their creatures anyway. There's a Mausoleum Wanderer we knew about. And they're going to go ahead and put the Drogstall captain into play immediately. I might have waited a little bit on that, tried to respond to something, but getting it into play just means all their creatures have hexproof. So that's quite strong for them. And we go to 6. They have flyers, so we're pretty much dead. But if we get TBR, we might be okay. Note, just a land. So we're going to try and draw a card. Let's take a look at our life total. Even if we gain 3 life, we're still dead. So we'll Cling to Dust one of our cards. We'll get rid of a land. Give us a prowess trigger and draw a card. Fatal Push. Okay, that's no good. We cannot Fatal Push anything. If we attack, we can do 5 damage. So we're dead. Hold on a second. We can play this land. We can draw a card. Mishra's Bauble. Okay, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6. So we still don't have enough, even if they don't block. Let's attack and see what happens. They might think we have TBR and have to block. They could just block with a Wanderer here, and they're still in excellent position. Okay, so they block just like we thought they would. We're going to Mishra's Bauble, target them, and we'll see what we draw. but this game is basically over. So they have Path to Exile on top too. Okay, so they draw the path. We're just waiting to see what we draw here. Yeah, we concede. Okay, so how are we going to play this match out? The Kozilek's Return can hit some spirits, but some of the time it's just going to be a dead card in hand. If they get the Lords out, it's not going to be very good. Mutagenic Growth can go. We're not dealing with lightning bolts in this matchup. Cling to Dust can go. TBR is okay. Dismember is fine. Thoughtseize is great. Let's bring in Inquisition. We do have plenty of removal spells here. I don't know if we want to bring in additional path. I'm thinking more Wear Tear to try and get rid of their Aether Vials. WT. What's a WT? I am considering bringing in the paths. Oh yeah, Wear Tear. Right. I just don't think Path is better than any of the removal spells we're currently running. Yeah, I think you're right. The Apostle's Blessing seems quite nice. Thoughtseize Inquisition is great. The Unearth, I'm not too impressed by. We can get rid of that. Okay, I'm pretty happy with all the cards that are left in the deck, so we have one space open. I'm thinking Kolaghan's Command, because it can get rid of a creature and the vial. So we're going to bring that in. Submit. Okay, yes, we'll play first. Okay, so we have an interesting hand here. We can start it with Scries, and then we have a Death Shadow coming in late. It's a little bit slow, but with the Kolaghan's Command on turn 3, a hard wipe. A hard wipe's difficult because we have our own creatures, so we want to have a sweeper that doesn't hit our things, which is a little bit difficult. We could run Anger of the Gods, but if we cast that, our Monastery Swiftspears could die. We're gonna keep this. It's a risky hand, but we're gonna try it. Dr. Queller. Should have known you were playing spirits. It seems so obvious now that their name is Dr. Queller. Okay, so play Arid Mesa, Mishra's Bauble. We'll look at our top card. Looking for a removal spell. We find Bomat Courier. You're a turn too late. But we might still want to draw that, so we'll play another Mishra's Bauble, and we'll play Bomat Courier on turn 2. And then we can use the Arid Mesa to do another Pseudo Scry. Okay, basic planes to start, and they have the Aether Vial, so our turn 3 will be destroying it. Let's take a look at our top card. Wear Tear. Well, we could Wear Tear that Aether Vial on turn 1. Or, sorry, on turn 2. I don't mind that. Let's do that. Okay. So we're going to want all of our colors. We're going to start with, I think maybe a Sacred Foundry, and then fetch for a Blood Crypt. We don't want to keep the Bauble for the Monk triggers because we don't have a Swiftspear. If we had the Swiftspear, we would consider that. Otherwise, we would just want to keep on drawing cards. And having the land there to do a pseudo scry meant that it was well good enough. Okay, we're going to hope that they don't have another land here. They do. But we have Removal Spell and Lightning Bolt and Kolaghan's Command. Okay, Selfless Spirit. So we could ask them to discard a card with the Kolaghan's Command. Another Bomat Courier. So what I'm thinking now is Courier, Courier, Lightning Bolt. Just get this out of here. And then we can attack with the Couriers and start getting some value. Yeah, well, the Spirit has to die at some point, right? It's just going to be able to protect the other creatures otherwise. So an interesting thing you can do with Bomat Courier, if you haven't experienced the Courier in Standard, if you have 2 Couriers, you can hold priority and activate both so that you discard your hand twice before you pick up any cards. Okay, Skyclave Apparition. That's going to take one of our Couriers, and we'll use the command to get it off the table. And maybe do ourselves 2 damage. We'll see what we draw. Probably make them discard a card. Thoughtseize. Interesting. So unfortunately well, I guess we could Thoughtseize Death Shadow. I think that's probably the better play. But it leaves 1 mana unused. The other option is Kolaghan's Command and make them discard a card. I think I would rather Thoughtseize Death Shadow. So we can get rid of a problematic card while they're tapped out. Okay, they have Lord, Rattlechains, and Mimic. I think we probably hit Lord here, and then our Kolaghan's Command kills the rest of their cards. If we play the Shadow, they could copy the Apparition and take the Shadow away from us. I don't think I want that. I think we just pass and don't play the Shadow. Okay, tapped land, which means we have... Oh no, that is the land we knew about. Okay. Anyway. They do not attack. They don't want to grow our creature. Otherwise, they play nothing. They have access to Rattlechains at instant speed, which will protect their card. If we K-command in response, the copy dies. That's good to know. So we'll play the Death Shadow out as bait. Now that we have the extra mana, and we'll pass. It is showing that we have something though, because otherwise we would put Lurrus into play. Or sorry, otherwise we would put Lurrus into our hand. Okay, so another land. Again, we have perfect information. It looks like they're going to go for it. But they have access to the Rattlechains in response. So that's a bit of a problem because of the extra land. So there's not much we can do about that. They just get to do their thing. We could... So, hear me out on this. We could kill our Death Shadow. No, we can't really do that. Because the Death Shadow would grow when we fetch. We could go get Mountain. Use Kolaghan's Command to kill our Shadow. Make them discard a card. And then we can bring Shadow back through Lurrus. That doesn't seem very good. I don't like that. Okay, they are attacking now. They're ready to finish the game. We draw Wear Tear, which has no targets, so dead card. I think we either attack and activate, or we pass. Holding up that Kolaghan's command. And they do not bite. They keep the rattle chains in hand. So we can block here and then use the Kolaghan's command, make them discard a card and return Bomat Courier. And we'll at least get some value out of the card. Yep, you're right. Kozilek's return is looking real good here. Okay, the reason we're not targeting one of their creatures, we know they have a rattle chains in hand. So they're going to play the rattle chains out. And we're about to lose. So it looks like we're going to go 3-2. Oh, they're countering our spell. Okay. And we draw Dismember. So we could kill their rattle chains and take 4. We could kill one of their apparitions and get a 1/1 token, which seems bad. We could put Lurrus in hand and take 6. But Lurrus isn't going to get us anywhere. So I think we just have to dismember one of their cards. Either the Rattle Chains, which is a flyer and thus unblockable, or one of their spirits so that we can chump and only take 2. Let's go ahead and get rid of one of these creatures. Get a token. And we'll only take 2 damage on our turn. No, not dead yet. We've still got draws. But they have 2 cards in hand. So if they have, like, what do you call it? Spell Queller, this game is over. Okay, they don't. They can put us to 1. If we draw a TBR, we're pretty good. But, nope, Celestial Purge. Okay. They had the answer all along. Let's just go ahead and see what we draw. But things are looking grim. Hey, we get a Thoughtseize. Let's Thoughtseize him. Oh, you're no fun. GG. Alright, so that's our league. We ended up going 3-2. I think we ended up going 3-2 every time we use this deck. But I've actually really enjoyed it this week. I think it's a fantastic deck. And I do believe it still requires a little bit more work, but I've very much enjoyed it. We'll take a second here and take a look at the deck list before we sign off. Okay, this is the deck that I was running today. It's a fairly stock, 8 Shadows, rakdos with a white splash. Some things that you might notice that are different. I play an Apostle's Blessing. I play an Apostle's Blessing over the 3rd Mutagenic Growth, and I play a Silent Clearing instead of a Sunbaked Canyon. Oh, hey there, Smuggler Copter. What's up? So, the Bomat Courier, first off being hasty, and secondly, as a source of card advantage. I was playing with Soulscar Mage for quite some time, but mostly I just wanted to take the Lava Darts out of the deck. And once we took the Lava Darts out, the prowess creatures weren't as impactful. So at that point, we took out the Soulscar Mage, we put in the Bomat Courier. So yeah, that's the reasoning. Drawing extra cards, and we're no longer playing Lava Dart. Yeah, someone's got Prime. As far as sideboard options go, I really do enjoy the Soul Guide Lantern. It allows us to eliminate players' graveyards even through Leyline of Sanctity, which was a tech for a little while. And the Path to Exile is one of the other big reasons to be playing this version of the deck. We play a couple of white sources in Godless Shrine, Silent Clearing, and Sacred Foundry. And the Path to Exiles is just the best removal spell that is available in Modern right now. So anyways, that's it for today. If you'd like to catch up on any of the videos I've released previously... Oh, thanks for the follow! Alright, thanks, Daxel. If you'd like to see any of my previous videos, you can find them on YouTube. I have a link in my bio on Twitch, or you can search for Cooper the Red on YouTube, and you should be able to find me. I have a ferret face, so you can find me through that. Or you can just start looking for 8 Shadows in Modern, and you might find me that way. Anyways, thank you very much for staying with me and watching my stream, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And if you're Canadian, happy Thanksgiving. All right. Thanks, Daxel. Have a good weekend.